me look at me, gente, it's Dan the King, aka Mr. Moose.
You know, just clap sometimes. Sometimes you just maxing out the microphone. Library clap.
Welcome back to the YouTube. Today we're gonna go over how to master market structure, how to identify market structure. What is market structure? Why is market structure important? And how to trade it. Everything you need to know about me is in the description down below. 7-day free trial, all algo signals, all of that down below. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, do everything that I need you to do, that you should be doing, and I'm tired of having to tell you to do. I sound like a nagging mother. I need you to do that for me ahora mismos, okay? See you guys at the charts. All right, guys, so I did some mock-ups for you guys, people that are new. So this is how you identify an up and downtrend. I take my trend line tool, right? And I drew it up here. Now, understand that it's just a way to you visualize price a little easier in terms of the trend that is in, you know, certain breaks, stuff like that. It doesn't actually do anything to price when you put it on your chart. You'd be amazed at how many people think so. Say this is price right here, right? This line that I drew. You get this push up. Others call it an impulse, So you get this impulse push up, and this creates a higher high. HH. This is your low, a higher high, and then you will get what's called a correction or what's called a pullback. And that means that price will pull back most of the time, at least 50% of what it pushed up to. So if I were to draw a line here, about 50%, a little more than that, you guys get the point. So now you get what's called a higher low. This low is higher than this low. And that's how it repeats itself. Then you get the push up, draw this line here, a broke structure being right here. You get this breaker structure, which was the ceiling. And this is called, and if you guys haven't seen my support and resistance video, go check that out. It is called the minor resistance, right? A minor zone. So it breaks this minor zone here, and a broke structure creates a higher high. This high is higher than the last high. Then correction right there, 50% where that high was for the most part. Then you get your higher low. This low is higher than this low, and it just repeats itself. And it's the vice versa for a downtrend. Drew my trend line, say price was right here, and price decided to break down. Now it created a lower low right here. Correction, you get a lower high, right? Because this low high is lower than here, and then it just repeats itself that way, right? So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, right? So if you get this lower, pushes, breaks this minor structure, does it all over again, right? And it just keeps breaking structure, minor structure, to continue on into the trend. It's always going to push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, push. So what these things can do, right? If I come down, you have breaks of structure, right? So right here, we see that we have a push up and then a rejected off, came back, tried to push again. And this is a known pattern, is the M pattern, a double top, right? So you get two rejection points, and then price will continue down. So now you got 2 points of structure. Break, what seems to be in a range, hasn't broken the high, hasn't broken the low. So what you're looking for is a break from either side, break, retest, and then it continued down. Vice versa for over here. If I drew a zone right here, we got this range, broke, and then you want to retest and go into there. If you haven't seen my support and resistance video, go check that out. So that's just a quick run through of simple how to identify an uptrend and downtrend. Now, what we're gonna do is go through some live charting so I can show you guys top-down analysis and show you guys somewhat of a strategy, but mostly just how to identify the market from the higher time frames down to the lower time frames, identifying structure when it happens. So let's go over to this chart. We're on US 30 on the daily time frame. Now, for the newbies, right? Each one of these candles are a representation of whatever time frame that you're on. So we're on the daily. So one of these candles means a day's worth of price movement, right? So you guys see that I drew my trend line and we identified that we're in an uptrend, right? So let me get my brush. We have our low, then we get our push up, then we get our high, low, high, low, high, low. It doesn't always have to look pretty. You just have to be able to identify structure. So if we have our low, then we get that impulse up. And we see that we having wicks here And all we want to see is a breakdown between here to identify our new higher low, right? So we got our push up from this low, boom, identified our high because that's where it's at, pushed down, broke this mid structure, right? And then now we have a new higher low. And then we saw it happen again. Broke slightly above this last structure. So we got a high, slight pullback, push, pullback, right? So when you're doing top-down analysis, and I'm understanding, okay, we've been in an uptrend on US 30. Each one of these candles is a day's worth of price movement. So when I drop down from the daily to the 4 hour, you're going to see a whole lot of more candles. 1 day's worth of price movement is six candles on the 4 hour time frame. So what does that also mean? One candle on the 4 hour time frame is 4 hours of price movement. So when you go down to the 1 hour time frame, that means it has to form 4 candles before it gives you one 4 hour candle. So for example, let's look at 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just circle this little and go back up. That's that one candle that we got. That one small little candle. We drop back to the 1 hour and we go 1, 2, 3, 4 and go back to the 4. That's that white buying candle that we got. So I hope that makes sense to you, right? Now, let's go down to the 1 hour. Let's identify structure and how you can use it in your day trading. When you're using something like a trend line, right? Some people draw it by the wick to the body. I just draw it wherever price touches the most. So you see that we had a slight break and come up. And if you guys want me to do a trend line strategy video, just let me know, right? So we were on the daily. We identified we're in an uptrend, right? We dropped down to the 4 hour. Now, if say for example, right, we saw this happening when it happened. Well, all you have to do is identify previous structure and price, right? So when it came down here, you have to identify the top level, the major level at that point in time, which was up here. Then you just identify breaks of this level as the trend follows, right? Let's get into it. We see rejection levels happening here. So this means it's a good resistance area. It's a big resistance zone. Then we see this level underneath it, right? Just nice little zone that is consolidating through. All we're looking for is a break and retest to either direction. Pure market structure, right? So now it broke back in here, it's ranging, rejection. Okay, rejection, rejection, rejection. And now you're seeing it trickle down, right? Rejecting off minor zones. So if I took my horizontal line, you see this one wick, and if I put this here, look at all the candles before. This is a minor zone within even a more minor zone. So it gets kind of, I don't want to say tricky, it gets kind of tedious. So now we get this rejection and a breakdown. So we get this strong push down and then a second candle follows. Now we have a break of structure. Breaks of structure happens right at this candle. When a structure breaks, all you're looking to do is now apply a break and retest. So now let's go to the brush. We have our high. We have our lower high. We have a break, retest, lower high. You can enter for a trade right here on this candle, and then now you have a push, retest, lower high. Push, retest, but look what happens. Another break of structure. This one candle broke, 1, 2, 3 candles, closed about above this minor level, right? Minor level of structure. And now you have a new uptrend happening. So when you're identifying structure, it's all about breaks of structure and the continuation. So you have your high, you have your lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And when you think it's developing a lower high, it broke. Usually strong pushes, institutional candle pushes like this, means that structure is broken. You can see like a little box when things like that happen. So if I look over here, let's get rid of this line. If I look just around this area, you can kind of draw a small box around certain zones. You have your large, minor, and just like so minuscule of just identifying where price can reject that. But look, if I extend this box, extend right, extend left, rejected here, zoned here, and then it just continues on forward, right? So price will always repeat itself. Price will always come back to where it came for the most part, right? At least in recent price data. So if we get rid of this and we get a breaker structure, now we're going to start identifying the low, the high, the correction, and the higher high. Can you trade this? Absolutely, right? Because what you want to do is, since we identified all of this previously from our daily, we identified this push down and we got that break of structure. When we drop down to the lower time frames, we can actually enter on even lower time frames, right? So when you're doing your top-down analysis using pure market structure, you saw that we got this break and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles. This is what formed that one candle on the daily time frame we were looking at when it rejected. Now, if I were to move this stripe right here, it dropped down to the 1 hour. Look at how price data actually shows. So now we identified the structure on the 4 hour and you can see what's happening in even more detail. The lower time frame that you go, the more detail you're going to see. Now, you saw what I circled on the 4 hour, but look at what it looks like on the 1 hour. So now you have another mid-level happening here. And I was to delete all of this so you can actually see it a little bit better. Look at this zone. Rejection. This broke down. Now it broke this here. Boom. Bounced up. Boom. Got your higher high happening here. Got your higher low, right? Impulse. Higher low. Higher high. You can identify this as such if you like. That's very minor. And then you got your higher high here, higher low. This low is higher than this low. And then it broke structure again to create even a higher high here, higher low. You can definitely enter on these pushes when you identify from the higher time frame. Once you saw this candle in, you could have entered this all the way up to the top. Boom. Take it to the top of this zone if you like. Slight underneath this one. You would have hit full TP, right? So let's drop down even further. From the 1 hour, let's see what it will look like when we want to enter on the pullback here, right? This strong push down. Let's drop down to the 15 minute and see what that looked like. See how much more price data we're looking at because we dropped down to a lower time frame. So now we got this strong pull, and you're seeing the zones from the higher time frame even in more detail, right? And this is what price is going to do for the majority of the time. More volatile pairs such as US 30, you know, the indices, crypto, they're going to trend a lot better. So you're going to be able to identify structure a lot better between higher highs, higher lows. Forex, for the most part, you're going to see a lot of ranging. You're going to see a lot of price movement going sideways. Boom, 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 boom. Then it'll trend every once in a while and then go sideways for the most part. Come up, go sideways for the most part. So that's also a lot of reasons why traders like to scout, because when you go to, when you go to price and it seems to be ranging, for example, here, right? On the 4 hour time frame, that's a range market. But if I were to drop down to the 15 minute and go back to that same range, you can identify trends in here. That's a nice trend. This is a nice trend, right? That's a beautiful trend all the way from the top of the zone. And all you do is kind of up your lot sizes even more, right? You could have bought here, sold here, bought here, sold here. But on the 4 hour time frame, that's 1 or 2 candles. So it's all about how you identify the market and how you want to trade it. So even on the 15 minute, if I drop down to the 5 minute and did that all over again, I'm going to see so much more. And the trends are going to look even more violent, right? It's going to even look prettier, or sometimes even worse, right? Look at that big circle that I see from the higher time frames. Nice snipe entries right there. So hopefully you guys are understanding what I'm saying between market structure and top-down analysis and how to use it. Now, when you can do this and identify it all the way from the daily, right? Let's go back to the daily and let's just draw it, right? Let's draw a major trend line from right here and just draw it up. You're gonna see something very consistent here. I mean, it's indices and they're always gonna really go up, but you're gonna just have a large trend line. And then if you were to draw even another trend line from here to here, you can see a break of structure. And now you just made somewhat of a channel, right? So when you drop back down to, let's say, the 1 hour, boom, and you're just gonna look at where you're at in that channel, it gives you a different idea where price can go, right? And now you can draw the levels you need to draw. And see where price is, right? So now here we have a major level. You still have room for price to come down here to its daily major level. Then you have your hourly, and then you're probably gonna have your 4 hour right above here. So now you're just looking for either a break and retest down here or a break of structure here where you can enter for the buy for the continuation up to the top side. So when it comes to identifying market structure, it can get really detailed and it can get really intricate, because even here, it's all about the trend that you're analyzing, right? So we have the tops over here, and then we have a whole trend that happens off the break of structure. Boom, boom, broke here, broke up. Now we have a start of an uptrend. Boom. So we have our major trend line, mid trend line. And the whole point about it is just practice analyzing the market and in learning how whatever you want to trade moves, right? Because as you drop down and drop down and drop down, price data gets more and more detailed. You're going to start seeing what looked like a range market on the higher time frame be a whole trend on the lower time frame, which is the difference between swing traders, intraday scalpers, stuff like that, right? Because I could have scalped this whole move. That's an impulse, pullback, that's an entry. Boom, pullback, that's an entry. And then take profit here. So we got a break of structure, broke, retested, strong retest, and then I could have entered for that sell when I saw it reject off this zone. Double top, broke down, right? It broke down from this right here, this level. You see how intricate price gets, and I'm only on the hour time frame. This is just straight understanding market structure. But guess what happens when let me just circle this, boom, right? Let me drop down to the 15 minute. That's boom, 1 trade, 2 trades, 3 trades, 4 trades. I actually have a video of us taking this trade. 5 trades, 6 trades. Drop down to the 5 minute. See what this looks like. See more detailed price action. So I'm really hoping that this is getting across well, and it just gives you so many things to look at, and it just determines what type of trader you're gonna want to be. And this is also the precedent on how to get really, really tight entries. But remember, tight entries don't always mean you're gonna have a tight stop loss, and then this price is gonna go forever in that way. And if you guys want to see that video, drop a like on this video and drop a comment down below if you want to know how to get sniper entries utilizing this strategy. But yeah, so that's market structure at its finest, guys. So you just have to identify the overall trend, learn what it looks like, be prepared for the pullbacks, right? It's not always pretty, but when you understand where price has to go based on the higher confirmations, right? Because the higher the confirmation, the stronger your analysis will be. Because even when I look at US 30 on the daily, and let's just draw that trend line again, boom, and I go up to the monthly, right? Let's go to the 1 week. Look how that chart changes completely. It takes 5 candles, right? Because US 30 doesn't trade throughout the weekends. Takes 5 candles to make one of these. Let's highlight one candle here. Just highlight one candle and see what this look like. That's what one candle price data looks like, from the weekly to the daily, to the 4 hour, to the 1 hour. So if I'm on the weekly and I go to the monthly, that box doesn't even show up. So just, remember, we're trickling up on US 30, then I drop down to the weekly and I see that we have a bearish candle, right? And I look to my left, we have 1 day and 17 hours. So for the week, we're gonna finish off bearish. That means that I know that the next candle, once it rejects from my daily confirmation, I can start looking at my lower confirmations, right? I can start looking at the lower confirmations, such as the 4 hour rejection, right? When it breaks this structure, break and retest this for buy entries to break. Once it breaks this high, this structure, and then this high, I'm looking for nothing but buys. But yeah, that's it, guys. Like, I hope I try to make it as simple as possible. If you guys have questions or want me to do a part 2 to this video, drop a like and a comment down below and let me know. But yeah, guys, like, that's really how it goes, because it's either going to, this is a long candle push, so we are going to get a correction. But how far is that correction going to go? Is it going to only come about 50%, which is around this level? Is it always going to come here, dabble, and then drop back down to break this level? And now we have a break, retest, continuation to this level? Or are we going to have a full break, retest of this level, and then break of this high? Break, retest for the continuation. That's how you identify certain market structure, because anything that happens on the right, it happened on the left. And if I look to the left from here, am I making sense? So just practice on the charts, right? Just practice. Try to identify it, draw your trend lines up, and then write them out, right? Just write them out. Brush. Low. Okay, we have high, right? Push down a little bit, okay? So we got high, higher low, high, higher low, high, higher low, but it didn't break here. It did not break, it rejected. So this is a higher low, even though it's equal. Now it broke back up. Whatever structure broke this last high is now a higher high, but now you got this that happened and broke all the way down. This is a break of structure when this broke. So now you have a low. Now you have the retest that closed above your trend line. And I'm not saying trend lines are the end all be all of, identifying your support and resistance. Some people do, right? And then you have this big bullish candle and then a bullish candle happening after that confirmed another break back into that uptrend structure when it broke above this level. Boom. Okay, high. Higher high. You can try to identify this. Maybe there's a higher low, right? And then higher high, broke that high. Then higher low, higher high. Now we have another break of structure. Now we have a low. So all you have to do is drop down to your lower time frames to see what that price data looks like every time you look to the left. All right.
That's why they call it top-down analysis, right?
Top-down analysis at its finest, right? So everything that happened while at price data you're looking at now happened before. So when you identify that and look to your left, all you really have to remember is what a higher high, higher low is, how to identify certain structural movements or where price has rejected from, such as this, identify the range, stuff like that. Get comfortable with reading mid levels, major levels, minor levels, and just be patient with the market, right? Because this can easily break this, retest, and continue. We might get another 2 or 3 days of selling, or it can break above this structure and then you can drop down to a lower time frame to get a really nice entry, right? A really nice entry. If it breaks above here, I'm over here doing a full-blown analysis on here. Breaks above here, and then now you're just gonna have a break of this high. I know traders that sometimes they want a break of the complete high. They want a break of this whole level here before they even decide to do anything, because the market sometimes it ranges, sometimes it fakes you out, sometimes it will break down and then break down, retest, but then come back. But how do you get that confirmation, right? Because we know that this long candle is going to get corrected. It's all about how much is it going to get corrected. My bias with US 30 is always longs, just like when it comes to all indices. Let it drop, buy at its lowest price, right? And it'll probably do that. It will probably correct, bounce here, and then boom, and go out all of next week. But hopefully this makes sense to you guys. Again, any critiques, any questions, like, comment this video. All right, guys, hopefully that all made sense to you, how to identify market structure within any market. Again, like, comment, subscribe, comment down below what you're seeing me do next. Everything you need to know about me is in the description. Free Discord, free trial, website, subscribe to my OnlyFans. See you guys in the next video.
Don't need me no friends. Bag on my head and they wanted me dead, but you still see me with the roof of the Benz. My bitch is bad and bougie. Ain't but a back, she don't matter to me. Super big guns like it's Call of Duty. Say this your man's, but he ratatouille.